y'all see the title of this video, the International Church of Cannabis. Look, Wikipedia, I use Wikipedia and I did not want to because it be tripping. It has so many people implementing facts that's just not true. They just want to be heard or something. I don't know what be happening. But it pretty much matched up with kind of like the basics and the mission statement of the actual church website. And one thing, their belief says that they are elevationists. If you ever smoked marijuana, then you understand the term elevation, right? I smoked marijuana for 2 years. I understand the term elevation. They ritually use the sacred flower of cannabis to accelerate and deepen self-discovery. A member is considered awakened when their cannabis experience becomes transcendental in nature. Transcendental in nature. If you don't know what transcends mean, it means that you're no longer in this world. Like you're no longer on the material plane. You are now active in the spiritual plane, right? There's transcendence in religion, which is really where it started from, meaning that when we talk about our walk with Christ, transcendence would be Christ going into heaven and sending the Holy Spirit as a comforter. And the contrast would be immanence, which is him walking on this plane for 33 years, interacting with us and other people. So those would be the definitions of those, right? But when we talk about it with cannabis and in that nature, they are saying that now we're above this material plane and we're experiencing life on a spiritual basis to understand the better or a deeper version of ourselves. So I get the mission of this church, but I thought it was so interesting because when you hear transcendence, it's just like, you know, for some reason, with every good religious thing or everything that was made from God, they always have to alter it to be the whole totally different things. If you ever watch any horror movie, you know transcendence is highly in depth in every horror movie, every single one, unless it's like more so of a thriller based on killing and stuff. But transcendence is so high when you see movies about possessions and meditations and Ouija boards. Transcendence is there basically. And when we think about transcendence, you have to put the words meditation and all those things together, which is basically what they're doing in this International Church of Cannabis. They are using guided meditation and they have mindful use of the marijuana, okay? And the reason why I say mindful, I've only smoked marijuana and drunk alcohol, but anybody who has ever done LSD or any pills, I'm not sure about heroin, cocaine, or methamphetamine. I'm not really sure, but I heard these things are also psychedelics, I believe. But they encourage you when it comes to psychedelics, and because some of these things are also stimulants and depressants all three at the same time, they encourage you to already be in the good mood and focus on the good thing that you want to be in before you enter into these things, because it can get dangerous if your mind is not in that good place, right? So these people are focusing on transcending and being mindful and all that stuff when it comes to their cannabis use. When you think about transcending and not being a part of your own self, think of yourself being in an alternate state of mind. Think of you being me, you seeing me right here, but there's also a spiritual person beside me. Or you being there watching this video and there's also a spiritual you beside you. It's almost like you're two different people, but in the physical and in the spiritual. There are several issues with this, right? There are several issues with this. One, if you hear transcending, already think the scary movie when it comes to about worldly things. Already think about scary movies and how these people begin to experience demonic and spiritual attacks when it comes to transcending. That is one dangerous thing that you can run into. When it comes to transcending, I understand they want to get the better version of themselves. I totally get the agenda of it. But when it comes to transcending, you never know what doors you knock on. The scripture already tells us that we don't fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against rulers in dark places, all of those things. We are in a spiritual warfare every day. So when we talk about transcending or going into the spiritual realm, We never know what we're about to fight. We never know what the battle is about to be. And we're not even supposed to be there, okay? When we follow Christ and we start fighting in a spiritual, we are in prayer. We are asking God because he can battle those things. But we're never supposed to go into that realm ourselves. That is not something that is encouraged because of the dangers behind it, because of the things that can happen. Look, I understand that we see scary movies and we be like, oh, that's just this and that. But that stuff can actually happen. So yes, International Church of Cannabis, especially being so many cultures, so many religions, so many things mixed together, you never know what can happen, especially if you practice it. It already says you don't have to be a member to be Elevationist. So you never know what can happen when we're talking about transcending. Two, it was talking about, I was reading an article on the dangers of it outside of, the spiritual things that we just talked about. It talked about having a plateau effect. And when you have a plateau effect, that's basically when you think you have, how you say it? Now these things have intersected. So you are in a state where you don't know if you are in, your right mind or you don't know. It's almost as if, let's say, okay, so I know when I started smoking marijuana, I only got my stuff from certain people. And I've come into contact with people who have been laced because something was added to their marijuana, or because once they smoked it, it did not go right. So they were stuck in that state and they never was the same again, right? Outside of being laced, because I know y'all gonna say, oh, but being laced is different. No, I'm talking about some people smoke marijuana and they've never been the same again. So we're also talking about psychologically how if you smoke it, right, and you enter into this transcendent state, some people never come down. So they never know if they are being themselves. They never know if they are actually back in their sober state of mind. They don't know where they are. They are just there. They are having an identity crisis. And like I said, most people recommend, if you are going to take any type of drugs like these, that you are enter into it in the mood of whatever you want to feel. However, if you are constantly in that and your mood changes, it's all over the place. Trust me. You don't want to be there. Like the identity crisis of it all. We are already trying to find the better version of ourselves, and we already don't want to go through our identity crisis in the sober realm, and we're trying to fight every day to find the better identity of ourselves. So imagine being in transcendence and you're stuck in a plateau effect where you don't know, is this me or is this not me, and you're stuck with the identity crisis. You see how scary that can be, not knowing who you are or ever touching who you are for real again? Do you see that? Also, y'all, and this is the last thing, being in that altered state of mind is not going to get you to the better version of yourself. Because if you can't get it to the sober state, is the better version of yourself, right? That's how you're going to truly know, because you know what is true, you know what is fake, you know what is real, you know what is not real. You're able to set boundaries. You're able to see what's in reality. You're able to get the visions that you need. You're able to get those, right? But when you are in the alternate state, not only is that not you, but now whatever you're about to download into you is based on spiritualism. It's based on doors that you open in that transcendence. It's based on that, right? It's based on the hallucinating. It's based on the psychedelic. It's based on your mood. It's based on all these extra vibrations. Is based on all these elevated senses that you may not quite get, but it's not based on you in a sober state of mind. It's not based on you, okay? It's not. So you can never get to the better version of yourself in an altered state, because that's not even you from the beginning. That is a whole different hallucinated, transcendent version. Look, in order to get to the better version of you, you have to ask God to do that in your sober state of mind. Think about it. He created you. He created every single thing on this earth, to every detail, down to the different paintings in the sky every day, down to the hairs on your head. He knows exactly who you are. So to ask something that is a temporary fix, to understand your permanent self is, it can't happen. Nothing temporary can fix something that is permanent, okay? You have to have a permanent God, someone who's always there, who is always true, who is always pure, to give you your best intention, your best version of yourself, right? You have to do that. So with this International Church of Cannabis, look, like I said, I get your agenda, but these different things that can happen when you enter into this realm where you're just smoking cannabis, where you're and you're now transcending, you now are in meditation. Think about what I said. Think about these horror movies that you watch, the different realms that you open up to. Think about your identity crisis, how some people never discover who they are again because of how altered their mind got, because of how the drug just did not go with the chemistry of their brain, or because they got laced. And think about how you want to be the better version of yourself, but you can never do that in an unsober state of mind, because that's not even you. That's an alternate state of mind. Think about it. Look, ask God for the better version of you. Trust me, I promise you, He'll give it to you. Now, look, I done said enough on this video. I hope y'all don't get mad at me, but I don't really care. I have to share my opinion and my reaction on this. I love y'all. I hope y'all are living, enjoying it, and I hope this is a great week for y'all. I hope y'all found some money. I hope some random money come in y'all account. I hope y'all get that goal that y'all was getting, y'all was setting. I hope y'all get some stuff done, and most of all, I hope that y'all are happy all week and y'all don't let nothing get in y'all way. All right, bye.